Second obstacle, wrong notion of providence. If you wish to know the divine essence, do not give it an imaginary form. If you wish to be aware of the divine driving force, do not invent it to fit your rules of logic and superficial morality. If you wish to observe the predestination of things and beings, you must go back behind their successive avatars and comprehend the original act which brought them into being. In this original act you will find a cause with inescapable consequences, which will proceed harmoniously or discordantly, according to how things follow their destined plan or become the victims of fortuitous circumstance. That is the meaning of providence. A fertilized egg has in it the quote, providence, that is, the plan of destiny, of the chicken which is to be hatched. The necessity or cause which determined the creation of a nebula determines also the mode in which its substance shall develop. That is the providence of the nebula. If you are unable to go so far back to the sources of destiny, do not adopt by way of lame explanation the concept of an extra-cosmic God who, as general manager of the bourgeois world, hears the daily plaint of the good, gives each one his little reward, and punishes the wicked. If the providence of such a God looked after the lives of all his creatures, would it not be responsible for the necessity which forces animals to kill each other for food? At that rate, the goodness and pity which man has invented for God express themselves by giving life to some at the price of violent death for others. This providential general manager would have to be held guilty of the most flagrant injustice and cruelty whenever the innocent suffer for the guilty, whenever children are tortured, crowds massacred, and villages wiped out by avalanche or volcano. If you think it blasphemy to deny such an arbitrary, quote, providence, take note that the blasphemy consists in confusing this all too human picture with the sublime gift of the Spirit, which, by perpetual sacrifice, gives life and sustenance to the universe, without discrimination, calculation, or selection. That confusion, with its ignorance of causes, is responsible for the notion of God as pitiful or vengeful, of a creator who doubts whether his works were opportune, and, quote, repents him of having created them. Let us be careful not to invent God in our own image. In the words of the gospel, divinity must only be worshipped in spirit and in truth. So let us try to discover that which is in truth. First, before all and in all, there is the absolute principle, called by the Chinese sages Tao. This, according to the commentary of Schwaller, is the void center of the hub, the axis, the unnameable principle, which has neither activity nor existence, properly speaking, but without which there is no reality and no truth. For it is the unqualified potential, which, like a diffused light, illumines everything equally, giving each thing its true appearance. The Tao is the principle immanent in the spontaneity of the universe, and it reveals itself by total indifference. It is void of prejudices, and makes no resistance to any free initiative. With it, the unnameable, no individuation can be at odds. It gives life to the game, and yet remains outside the game. Its one rule is non-intervention. It acts in the sense of radiating tirelessly, a sort of continuous vacuum. It provides a neutral milieu for the indefinite flux and reflux of spontaneous interactions. We must next consider the providence which each created thing carries within it. This providence is the innate element in it, and bears the consequences of its original cause. The mistake is to try to bring in a God who would prevent causes from having consequences. Various accidents, resulting from fortuitous secondary causes, can divert the working of the laws of providence, and these may be regarded as karmic impulses, the source of discordances disturbing the primordial harmony, but no extracosmic providence can intervene to prevent them. Nevertheless, human consciousness is capable of leaving these divergent paths to return to the way of providence, the way of the One. This possibility is the meaning of divine compassion. The perfect witness to divine compassion is the revelation of Christ, which offers humanity freedom from the divergences which have misled it from the plan of its destiny. For the way of the Christ is the way of unification, the human transmuted by the divine. And if you still need a, quote, divine brain to look after and protect you, do not look for it in the unknowable power, but in those radiant beings called the Masters of Wisdom, who illuminate the highest region of earthly life, and are the intermediaries between humanity and the inaccessible wisdom.